Straight ahead on CCX News, a Golden Valley nonprofit responds to a natural disaster that has affected thousands of people. Plus, they are the area's newest firefighters, why they decided to serve. And
coming up, we'll tell you about a new dessert that's rolled its way into Maple Grove.
CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. A Golden Valley nonprofit is beefing up its relief efforts in Guatemala.
This after a deadly volcano eruption last week. The Fuego volcano is located 25 miles southwest of the capital, Guatemala City. Sonia Goins shows us what this Golden Valley organization is doing to help victims.
This is the worst natural disaster to hit Guatemala in over 100 years.
The Fuego volcano erupted June 3rd and then again on June 6th, claiming at least 110 lives.
There's nothing left for thousands of people.
Fast-moving mixtures of hot gas and volcanic matter ran down mountainsides, covering everything in their path.
They can't use anything that they had before because everything is toxic. Everything is covered in toxic ash that's full of chemicals.
People lost their homes, livelihoods, and loved ones.
Once the ash mixes with water, it creates almost like a cement. So a lot of the villages that were closest are just buried.
Both Emily and Shannon work for the God's Child Project, which has operated in Guatemala for almost 30 years. They were quick to respond.
This is a little boy that he got some donated items and then we were able to give him some food.
The organization has several schools, a children's hospital, and a homeless shelter, which has now been turned into an emergency center for volcano victims.
We have, I think, over 100 people staying there with their extended families. We've actually run out of space where our staff built temporary shelters and tents in the yard.
Besides food and clothing, they're also providing psychological assistance and rebuilding homes.
A lot of families who live near the volcano lost everything they had.
The God's Child Project is collecting donations for the volcano victims. They've collected shirts and hygiene products, but they could really use more suitcases.
We use suitcases to transport all the donations down there, and then when the suitcases run out, we donate them to a family down there and they will use it as a dresser.
Volunteers with the God's Child Project say this will be a very long recovery.
It's very devastating for thousands of people.
In Golden Valley, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
The God's Child Project is looking for volunteers and donations. If you would like to help, you can go to our website at ccxmedia.org.
Strong storms with high winds hit the viewing area Monday night, and because of a Hennepin County system CCX News profiled last week, officials were able to warn people earlier than usual.
The National Weather Service actually issues the special weather statements, and based on readings from the Hennepin West Mesonet, they were able to issue that statement because they were seeing wind speeds over 40 miles an hour.
This Plymouth house is one example of the damage. Emergency managers tell us it would have taken longer to warn people about Monday's storms without their Mesonet system. Mesonet uses ground-level sensors to give up-to-date wind speed information. Without that, emergency managers would have had to wait for the storms to actually cause damage before they could alert the National Weather Service. Instead, residents received a warning with more time to react.
Minutes to tens of minutes, definitely. Minutes in the world of weather and weather warning can be life-saving. So this Mesonet is definitely keeping us on track with giving people as much warning as possible with these severe thunderstorms.
Hennepin County has 14 Mesonet stations installed so far in the West Metro. They plan to expand that to 30, which would put a station about every 5 miles. In Golden Valley, so-called ordinary people are stepping up to a challenge to help others.
They are the latest group of graduates from the West Suburban Fire Academy.
Be a part of the community, be a part of something bigger than me, and just take part in helping people out and being there on the worst day of people's lives to help them out and see what I can do to make their days and their lives better.
I've always wanted to be a firefighter. I had the time now and the opportunity to do it. Thank goodness I got hired. I'm so grateful. It's an amazing job. The best part-time job ever.
Ryan Darley and Richard Alney are among 16 new paid on-call firefighters. They will serve either Golden Valley, Plymouth, Brooklyn Center, Maple Grove, or the West Metro Fire Departments. The new graduates spent the past 5 months training that includes putting on 40 pounds of gear, practicing search and rescue, and crawling around in the dark. But perhaps what they learned the most is how team-oriented being a firefighter actually is.
They learn a new concept of team. They learn what it's like for when you say training and what that really means when we say train as if your life depends on it or somebody's life depends on it, because it does.
Training is an ongoing process. This fall, they have emergency medical responder training.
If you are planning to take part in Brooklyn Park's annual Summer Festival, a reminder there's a new location this year. Tater Daze festivities will now be held at the Brooklyn Park Community Activity Center along 85th Avenue. In the past, the summer gathering had been held at Noble Sports Park. The change was made to allow more room for new events as well as better access for residents. The Community Activity Center is located along several bus routes, and it also has greater protection should bad weather occur. Tater Daze kicks off on Thursday evening with the parade, and the parade location has not changed. Lots of people excited about that. Still ahead, a new tasty treat has rolled into Maple Grove.
Plus, the state lacrosse tournament is underway. We'll have quarterfinal highlights for the Wayzata boys and Maple Grove girls.
But first, a drop in humidity makes for a pretty nice Wednesday. There is a really cool new treat now in CCX territory.
That's right. Listen to this. As Delane Cleveland explains, there's a new form of ice cream that's taking over the Twin Cities, and it recently made its way to Maple Grove.
There's so many different ice cream places. It's fun to try something different.
Ever so often, something new comes around that generates buzz.
I have a friend who's referenced it twice in the past 2 days, so it's getting pretty hot reviews in the area.
She's referring to Wonder's Ice Cream, which just rolled its way into Maple Grove's fountains at Arbor Lakes on May 25th, attracting plenty of treat-seeking, ice cream-loving customers in the process.
So we're very new. It's only been a few weeks, but again, the response has been phenomenal.
Kid Unicone is the 28-year-old entrepreneur who, along with his business partner, brought rolled ice cream to the Twin Cities.
It's definitely not scooped ice cream, that's for sure. Each product or each dessert treat is handmade for you.
The process to make the frozen dessert, which originated in Thailand, is an elaborate one. We asked Kit to make the strawberry smash flavor, which is one of 21 flavors on their menu. The ice cream begins in a liquid form, which is essentially an egg custard with sugar.
So we set these to minus 20 Celsius.
Then he takes the liquid and pours it onto a cold steel surface.
At this point, it's very time sensitive. So you want to make sure you spread the ice cream right, and you have a small window to actually smash the strawberries.
Next, he smashes the concoction together to bring out the flavor and color.
So the key here is getting it to perfect thickness all around. If it's too thin, it's going to be icy. If it's too thick, it's not going to roll.
Once he gets it just right, he pushes the ice cream forward into 5 perfect rolls, ultimately forming a picturesque dessert that's deliberately social media friendly.
We repost a lot of their photos, and they take fantastic photos. And it's our job to make sure they have the best product to actually take a picture of.
As the long lines can attest, the social media strategy has worked. It also helps that people enjoy the taste.
It's really good. It was fun watching them make it, and it tastes really good.
We're proud to present the product that we have today.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Still ahead, scenic views and some exercise to boot.
We sampled the game of disc golf coming up in Backyard Getaways. But first, highlights from the opening round of the state high school golf tournament. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The early season snow that held up the high school golf season is now long forgotten. Minnesota's best heated up for the state tournament's opening round Tuesday. Amy Burnham of Wayzata teeing off in the Class 3A girls tournament at Bunker Hills. She shoots a first round 81. A nice putt here from Megan Muniche of Champlin Park is just enough on it to sink the birdie on West number 9. Muniche also cards an 81 and is tied for 24th. Melanie Roth of Hopkins comes through with a nice birdie on East hole number 9. Roth shoots an opening round 89. Lauren Contreras of Maple Grove lines up the putt and rolls it home for a par on East 9. Contreras has a 91 in round 1. The girls' tournament continues Wednesday morning at Bunker Hills. The boys had the afternoon tee times. Maple Grove's Nate Adams tees off here. Crimson boys are in the team competition in Class 3A. Dylan Hansen of the Crimson rolls home a short par putt on West hole number 2. And Tristan Nelko of Wayzata with a nice chip on East number 1 that curls around the hole and it leads to a par. Boys are still on the course at this taping of CCX News. A few local teams compete in Class 2A in golf. That tournament also got started Tuesday morning. Ridges at Sand Creek, the site. A misty morning for the girls, much of their round. Breck's girls qualified as a team. Margie Johnson, nice par putt on the 8th hole. She shoots a first round score of 89. Her teammate, Elena Simons, rolls in a par putt on the 6th hole at Ridges. Simons, with a round of 81, is tied for 12th place overall. Mustangs team in 6th place after day 1. Totino Grace boys, part of the Class 2A tournament. The birdie try here for Lewis Domelman, just off, but he would make par on the 2nd hole and shot a front 9 score of 37. William Hedberg of Providence Academy qualified as an individual. The boys players were still on the course of this taping of CCX News, and we'll have more on state golf tomorrow. In a state tournament week in Lacrosse, too. The Wayzata boys are in the tournament for a 3rd straight season, and they met a familiar foe in the quarterfinals. Trojans set to take on arch rival Minnetonka. Wayzata leads early, but watch this one from Tonka. Andrew DiFrancesco over the shoulder to score and pull the Skippers within 2-1. But Wayzata plays well early. Thomas Seifert to Brooks Hansen. His shot goes in before bouncing back out. It's 4-2 Trojans after 1 quarter. It's back and forth all game. Dalton Sees takes the pass in stride and buries the shot. That ties it at 6-6, and that's the halftime score. After falling behind 10-7, Wayzata goes on a run. Sees to Alex Solly for the low shot that finds the net. The Trojans back in front, 12-11. But Minnetonka gets the last 3 goals, and the Skippers hand Wayzata a hard-fought 14-12 loss. In the girls' tournament, Maple Grove facing Apple Valley. Down 1-0, Maple Grove's Chloe Corbin scores from the free position to even things up. But Apple Valley is tough. Reagan Rolfs finds Sophie Long for the quick shot and goal, and it's 2-1 Eagles. Metro Player of the Year, Rolfs scores from the free position, and it's quickly 5-1 Apple Valley. She scored 5 goals in the game. Emily Herdine takes a feed from Grace Hansen to score, and the Crimson pull within 5-2. But it's an uphill battle against Apple Valley. Josie Seeger scores. Apple Valley leads 9-4 at halftime. And they score the only goals of the second half. Apple Valley cruises to an 18-4 win over Maple Grove. Benilde St. Margaret's is the #1 seed in the boys tournament. They are taking the field for their state quarterfinal round game shortly after this taping of our news. The Red Knights have had less than ideal weather conditions to practice the last couple of days. They come into the state tournament with a 15-0 record and face Centennial in their first game. Red Knights are strong offensively and defensively and should be a tough team to beat this week. We asked the players about their team and about staying focused for each opponent.
Our coach is kind of putting it through us that the job's not done yet. We haven't really won anything of great worth to us yet, so that's what we're hoping for. Just keep coming out and playing hard.
Well, we have to look at every team like they're the #1 seed also, and like we have to give them our #1 effort because they're going to give it to us every single time. And we have to like remain calm, and we can't be complacent about anything.
It's definitely an overall positive vibe from everybody. We're obviously pretty fired up because we had a good regular season. We're looking to carry that momentum into the postseason.
The tournament continues Thursday with the state championship for the boys Saturday at 6 p.m. at Chanhassen High School. That's all for sports. Alex and Shannon, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Up next, a game that is quite a toss-up.
It also involves a trip into nature. We'll show you next.
This week in Backyard Getaways, we travel to two of the premier disc golf courses in the Twin Cities.
The sport is growing, and as Eric Nelson shows us, it's a great way to have fun without spending a lot of money.
It's just something easy that kids can do, adults can do, everybody can do it together.
I like the mix of elevation, technicality, length, and overall skill level it takes to conquer it.
Oh, nice. There's a lot of variety here. There's a lot of open shots.
Elm Creek Park is a hot spot for disc golf. With an 18-hole course, players gravitate here to fling the frisbee.
It's fun to kind of play with the wind. There's a lot of elevation change too, so it's really challenging, but a lot of fun.
Disc golf has a loyal following, thanks to hardcore frisbee fanatics who play at a high level.
Give me that!
And newcomers who find the game accessible and affordable.
It's easy to get into. It's an enjoyable way to take a walk through a scenic area. Doesn't require a ton of practice and refinement.
Frisbee golf is similar to real golf. Players start at a tee box and toss the mini flying saucer toward a basket. The lowest number of throws wins. The main difference is it's not incredibly time-consuming or as costly as regular golf. Elm Creek is a draw because it's a top-notch course and has spectacular views.
Much of our course is on our winter activities area, so there's a lot of up and down on the hills, so you definitely get a good workout.
The next stop on our Frisbee golf tour is Bryant Lake Park in Eden Prairie. This is a scenic course, and it's also very challenging. At Bryant Lake, you better bring your A game, or the course will chew you up.
It goes high and it bends back, nice.
There is also plenty of elevation, which provides a good cardio workout.
The 17th hole here, you actually tee off from on top of a ridge line, and then it goes down and over a road and across a large open area.
Bryant Lake is one of the premier 18-hole courses in the Twin Cities and has benefited from the sport's growth.
It has continued to be a very popular sport, and it's continuing to grow to the extent that we're challenged finding enough parking spots and other accommodations for people.
At Bryant Lake, the water and woods make for a stunning backdrop. The scenery also includes wild flowers and wild turkeys. It all adds up to the perfect suburban escape. For Backyard Getaways, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Birdie again.
Frisbee golf day passes at Bryant Lake and Elm Creek are $6.50, and an annual pass costs $45. Looks like Eric was getting the hang of it there on his first time out.
I think so, and Dustin too.
Dustin,
I think they know. I would not be any good at that. It would take a little bit of practice.
Dustin has some practice in there, right?
I think so. Good job, guys. Great work.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock.